All right, let's do a second inverse example. These aren't super long, so let's do 2.7 example number 2. So let's find f inverse of x when, and so let's be a little bit thoughtful about this. Things like squares or square roots have some restrictions, right? Because if I do square roots, I start to get into roots of negatives. One thing that doesn't have any kind of a restriction would actually be a cube root. So let's do a cube root function. Let's do cube root of x plus 9. So let's find the inverse. So what are we going to do? First thing, let's just get this down here. Cube root x plus 9. We sort of said the first thing is we should rewrite, instead of f of x, let's call this a y, right? And then this is going to be cube root of x plus 9. Keep these colors coming fast and furious. And so then what we're going to do is let's flip the roles, right? X and y. So let's bring the x out here. And so this is going to be equal to cube root of y plus 9. So this is all just setup, right? So this isn't us necessarily solving it. This is just setup steps. The actual math starts now, I guess. So the question is, okay, well, what's the opposite of a cube root? And the answer is, let's cube it, right? Cube both sides. So that's going to look like, right, x equals, I'll just rewrite this and we'll throw a cubing over everything. Cube root, right, plus 9. Here's my y. So we're trying to solve it for the y. So I'm going to cube both sides. So everything gets cubed. Cube here, cube here. This is going to leave me with x cubed on the left. Cube root cubed. The whole idea is that those two are going to cancel out. So then this is y plus 9. And then that leaves us with a pretty fast final step, right? The last thing to do here is we'll just subtract this 9 from both sides. And I'm going to end up with, right, x cubed minus 9 equals y. So that means my f inverse of x is x cubed minus 9. This again should be pretty intuitive, right? Based on kind of where we started. We started with a cube root, so the opposite of that is obviously going to be a cubed function, x cubed. We had a plus 9 sort of underneath, so we're going to end up with this sort of minus 9 on the outside. Let's see if we can squeeze in one of these like spot checks again, just because that was kind of interesting, I thought. What should we do? I got to be a little clever here with the numbers, so let's just spot check. Let's do x is -1. So f of -1, whoops, is going to be, oh, you can see it there. So let's do, right, cube root, -1 plus 9. I got to be a little bit careful about the numbers I pick, right, because I need to have something I can take a root of. Cube root of 8 is going to get me to +2. So that should be my y value. If I reverse it, so f inverse, if I put in my 2, what's going to happen? So then this is 2 cubed, right, minus 9. So that's 8 minus 9, and it does, just like I want, bring me back to -1. Technically, oh, sorry. There we go. So this checks out. This more or less does what we want it to. That's the basics of 2.7. We're just doing a short version of it, so we're just trying to find these inverse functions, do these kind of algebra moves to get there, and once we got it, we're good. Enjoy.